Jin woke up in his quarters at the Galactic Medical Academy. He had slept well despite the slightly too soft bed designed for species with different spinal structures. He stretched, feeling the satisfying pop of his joints, a sound that had made Dr. Tay wince yesterday. A soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal Dr. Mina, her pink skin glowing under the station's lights. "Good morning," she said. "I hope you rested well during your unconscious period." Jin smiled. "We just call it sleep, and yes, I did. What's on the schedule today?" "Director Han has ordered a full set of tests," Mina explained as they walked through the curved hallways of the station. "Your biology has raised some questions." Jin laughed. "I bet it has. My grandfather was a doctor. He always said humans were held together with duct tape and wishful thinking." Mina's translator struggled with duct tape, but she nodded politely. "Today we'll be testing your physical capabilities, not just your structure." They entered a large laboratory where several alien scientists waited, including Dr. Tay. His blue skin had darkened since yesterday. Jin was learning this indicated stress. "We'll begin with endurance testing," Tay announced, not bothering with greetings. Jin was directed to a treadmill-like device. As he began to run, the scientists monitored his vital signs. After 20 minutes, Tay increased the speed and angle. "You key. May stop when you feel you cannot continue," Tay said, clearly expecting this to happen soon. But Jin kept running. 30 minutes passed. Then an hour. "How is he maintaining this pace?" one scientist whispered to Tay. "Humans evolved as persistence hunters," Jin explained between controlled breaths. "We can't outrun most animals, but we can outlast them. We chase them until they collapse from exhaustion." The scientists exchanged looks of surprise. The test continued for another hour before Tay finally ended it. "Your endurance is unexpected," Tay admitted, "especially given your inefficient oxygen intake system." The next test involved temperature adaptation. Jin was placed in a chamber where the temperature was slowly raised, then lowered. "Your body is maintaining its core temperature despite extreme external changes," Mina noted with interest. "And you're doing this through waste heat production, sweating." "Most inefficient," Tay muttered, "losing water to cool down." "But effective," Mina countered. "His body temperature has barely changed despite our altering the room by 30 degrees. The dietary test was next. Jin was presented with a variety of foods from different worlds. "Please indicate which of these you could consume without harm," Tay instructed. Jin pointed to nearly 70% of the samples. "That's impossible," Tay said. "Some of these contain compounds toxic to most species. Humans are omnivores," Jin explained. "We can eat almost anything organic. Some things might make us sick but rarely kill us." "Your digestive system is remarkably adaptable," Mina noted, recording the data. "Most species can only process a narrow range of foods." As the day progressed, more surprising results emerged. Jin's reaction time was faster than predicted, his hearing less sensitive than most species, but his pattern recognition was exceptional. His pain tolerance was unusually high. During the lunch break, Jin sat with Mina in the station's dining area. "Dr. Tay seems disappointed by my test results," Jin observed. Mina's skin flushed slightly, her species' version of embarrassment. He expected to confirm his theory that humans are biologically compromised. Your performance is challenging his conclusions. Why did he think we were compromised in the first place? By galactic standards, your biological systems appear inefficient. You have redundant organs, overlapping systems, and seemingly unnecessary features. Jin laughed. We're basically evolutionary hodgepodges. We kept adding new features without removing the old ones. Exactly, Mina said, her voice excited. But that's what I find fascinating. Most species evolve toward elegant efficiency. Humans evolve toward resilience through redundancy. After lunch, the cognitive tests began. Jin solved puzzles, recognized patterns, and demonstrated memory recall that, while not exceptional by galactic standards, showed remarkable adaptability. The human brain uses context and approximation rather than precision, Mina explained to the other scientists. They make educated guesses based on incomplete information. A dangerous approach, Tay commented. But practical in an unpredictable environment, Mina countered. The final test of the day involved physical damage recovery. Jin was asked to hold his breath, then to place his hand in ice water. Small controlled electric shocks tested his nervous system's response. As Jin was rubbing his hand to warm it after the ice test, he accidentally knocked over a tray of instruments. While catching it, he cut his palm on a sharp edge. "I'm sorry," he said, grabbing a cloth to stop the bleeding. The room fell silent as the scientists stared at the wound. "You're leaking," one whispered in horror. "It's just blood," Jin said. "It'll stop soon." Tay approached with a scanner. "Your circulatory system is exposed, yet you're not in distress." "It's just a small cut," Jin shrugged. "It'll heal in a few days." "Without medical intervention?" Mina asked, fascinated. "Sure, unless it gets infected, but even then, my immune system would probably handle it." The scientists watched in amazement as Jin's blood began to clot within minutes. Tay scanned the wound repeatedly, documenting the process. "Your body is already beginning cellular regeneration," he noted with surprise. "Without external medical assistance." Later that evening, Jin returned to his quarters, while the scientists held an emergency meeting with Director Han. "The humans' biological performance contradicts our initial assessment," Tay admitted reluctantly. "While their systems appear inefficient, they demonstrate remarkable adaptability and resilience." "Explain," Han ordered. Mina stepped forward. "Humans evolved on a planet with extreme environmental variation. Rather than specializing, they developed adaptable, redundant systems. What appears wasteful may actually be survival insurance." "Their organs can regenerate?" Han asked, reviewing the data from Jin's cut. "Partially," Tay confirmed. "Their liver can regrow up to 70% if damaged. Their skin completely replaces itself every month. Even their bones can mend breaks without technological intervention." "Most intriguing," Han said. "Continue the testing. I want to know how a species with such seemingly flawed biology managed to not only survive but advance to space travel." In his quarters, Jin examined the bandage Mina had insisted on applying to his cut. He smiled, thinking about the scientists' reaction. Humans had always known they weren't the strongest, fastest, or most efficient species on Earth. But they were among the most adaptable. What the aliens saw as flaws, Jin realized, might actually be their greatest strengths. Tomorrow, he would show them more of what humans could do, not despite their biology, but because of it. The third day of testing began with a strange atmosphere in the laboratory. Jin noticed the scientists were treating him differently. Instead of dismissive looks, he now received curious glances. Dr. Tay still seemed troubled, but his blue skin had lightened to a shade Jin hadn't seen before. "Today we will test your sensory adaptations," Tay announced as Jin entered the main lab. The morning passed with tests of Jin's vision, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. The results continued to surprise the alien researchers. "Your vision is limited to a narrow light spectrum," Tay noted. "Yet your pattern recognition compensates remarkably," Mina added. "And while your sense of smell is poor compared to most species, you can identify complex combinations of scents with training." During lunch, Jin sat with Mina again. She seemed more relaxed around him now. "Your tests are causing quite a stir," she told him. "Dr. Han has been sharing the results with the Galactic Council's Biology Division." Jin took a bite of the food paste the station provided for him. It tasted like bland oatmeal. "So, am I still considered a biological disaster?" Mina's skin flushed. "Let's say you're now considered a biological mystery. Dr. Tay spent all night reviewing the data. He's particularly interested in your redundant systems." "Redundant systems?" "Yes. Most species evolve to eliminate redundancies. For example, my species once had 2 routes for air passage, but we evolved to keep only the most efficient one. Humans kept both mouth and nose breathing." Jin shrugged. "I guess we like having backup plans." After lunch, they proceeded to more advanced tests. Jin was given problem-solving tasks while his brain activity was monitored. The scientists were particularly interested in his stress responses. Humans produce adrenaline, Jin explained as they measured his hormone levels. It gives us a temporary boost of strength and speed in dangerous situations. An emergency override system, Mina said with interest. Most species either have peak performance always available or not at all. As the afternoon tests continued, an alarm suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights began flashing in the corridors. "What's happening?" Jin asked. Tay checked a communication panel on the wall. His blue skin darkened dramatically. "There's been a containment failure in the xenobiology research section. Atmospheric toxins have been released." The station's AI voice announced, "Warning. Atmospheric contamination detected. All personnel proceed to emergency shelters immediately." "This way," Tay directed, leading Jin and the other scientists toward a sealed doorway at the end of the corridor. As they hurried, Jin noticed a strange smell in the air. It reminded him of rotten eggs mixed with burning plastic. His eyes began to water. "What kind of toxin is it?" Jin asked. "Sulfur-based compound," Mina explained, her voice strained. "Harmless to some species, but deadly to most oxygen breathers." Jin could see the effects already beginning. Mina's steps were becoming unsteady. 2 other scientists had fallen behind, moving slowly. Only Tay seemed relatively unaffected. The corridor ahead suddenly filled with a thick, yellowish mist. The scientists in front of Jin began collapsing one by one. "The concentration is too high," Tay gasped. "We won't reach the shelter in time." Jin felt his chest tightening. Each breath burned his lungs. His head was getting light. But he noticed something important. He was still conscious, while most of the aliens around him had already collapsed. "How much further to the shelter?" Jin wheezed. 2 more sections," Tay answered, now the only alien still standing besides Jin. "But we'll never—" Tay didn't finish his sentence. His legs gave out and he crumpled to the floor. Jin made a quick decision. Earth's atmosphere had never been perfectly clean. Humans had evolved breathing smog, pollution, and all manner of irritants. His lungs hurt terribly, but they were still working. He bent down and lifted Tay over his shoulder. The alien was surprisingly light. Jin began moving forward, pushing through the yellow mist. "Door code," Tay mumbled weakly, pointing at the sealed door ahead. 82391. Jin reached the door, punched in the code, and dragged Tay through. The air was clearer here, but still toxic. Jin propped Tay against a wall and turned back. "Stay, human," Tay gasped. Too dangerous, but Jin was already heading back into the yellow mist. His eyes burned so badly he could barely see, but he found Mina's collapsed form and dragged her to safety. Then he went back for the others. One by one, Jin pulled the scientist to the clearer section. His lungs felt like they were filled with broken glass. His vision was tunneling, but his body kept moving. After bringing the 5th scientist through, Jin's legs finally gave out. He fell to his knees, coughing violently. Blood speckled the floor in front of him. The emergency shelter was visible just ahead, but Jin couldn't make his body move anymore. As his consciousness faded, he felt someone drag him the rest of the way. Jin woke up in the medical bay. His chest still hurt, but the burning sensation was gone. He blinked, trying to focus. Dr. Tay was standing beside his bed, studying a medical display. "You're awake," Tay noted. His blue skin now had a strange pattern Jin hadn't seen before. "How long was I out?" Jin's voice was raspy. 14 hours. The toxin damaged your lung tissue, but your body has already begun repairs." "Remarkable." Jin tried to sit up but felt dizzy. "Is everyone okay?" "Yes. Thanks to you." Tay's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "You saved 6 lives despite being affected by the toxin yourself." "Humans are stubborn," Jin said with a weak smile. "Indeed." Tay adjusted something on Jin's medical monitor. "You should have been incapacitated immediately, like the others. The sulfur compound should have paralyzed your respiratory system within seconds of exposure." Earth's air isn't always clean. I grew up in a city with pollution alerts. Tay made a sound Jin hadn't heard before, something between a click and a hum. Your inefficient respiratory system has redundancies we eliminated millennia ago. Those redundancies just saved lives. Dr. Han entered the medical bay accompanied by Mina, the director's 6 eyes focused intently on Jin. Human Jin, Han said formally. The Galactic Medical Academy owes you a debt of gratitude. Your actions were unexpected. Jin nodded weakly. Happy to help. Dr. Tay has been reviewing your medical scans from during and after the crisis. Han continued. He has developed an interesting theory. Tay stepped forward. Your respiratory system is inefficient compared to ours. You waste energy on excess lung tissue. Your airway is vulnerable to blockage. Your oxygen absorption rate is suboptimal. Jin waited for the criticism to continue, but Tay's tone changed. Yet you remained functional in conditions that immediately incapacitated us. You processed toxins that should have been fatal. Even now your body is repairing damage without medical intervention. Tay's skin lightened to a sky blue. I believe I have been asking the wrong question all along. What question is that? Jin asked. Instead of asking what is wrong with human biology, Tay said, perhaps I should be asking, what is right about human biology that we have forgotten? As Jin rested in the medical bay, the aliens gathered in Director Han's office to discuss a new possibility, that human biological flaws might actually be their greatest strength. Dr. Tay stared at the data on his screen for the 3rd time. He blinked all 4 of his eyes in sequence, a sign of extreme stress among his species. The biological readings before him couldn't possibly be correct. Yet the scanning equipment was functioning perfectly. This can't be right, he muttered, tapping his slender blue fingers on the desk. No sentient species could survive with such flaws. The object of Tay's distress was sitting in the examination room next door. A human. The first human to ever visit the Central Galactic Medical Academy. When Earth had made contact with the Galactic Council 3 months ago, Tay had been excited. A new species always meant new biological systems to study. But this was something else entirely. Tay gathered his instruments and entered the examination room. The human, a male called Jin, smiled at him. Such an odd expression, showing teeth. Among most civilized species, displaying teeth was a threat. Are we done with the scans, Doctor? Jin asked. His voice was pleasant enough, though it came from that bizarre single mouth that humans used for both eating and communication. Highly inefficient. Not quite, Tay said, keeping his voice level. I need to confirm a few readings. Jin nodded and sat quietly as Tay ran his scanner over the human's torso again. The results were the same. Tay felt his skin darkening with concern, the equivalent of a human frown. Is something wrong? Jin asked. Tay considered how to respond, diplomatically. In his 15 years as chief xenobiologist for the Galactic Council, he had examined over 40 different sentient species. All had evolved with elegant, efficient biological systems. But humans. Your biological structure is unusual, Tay finally said. Jin laughed. That's what all the aliens say. We're the weird ones, right? Weird would be an understatement, Tay thought, but kept this to himself. After completing the examination, Tay returned to his office. His assistant, Dr. Mina, was waiting for him. Unlike Tay, with his blue skin and 4 eyes, Mina's species had evolved on a world similar to Earth. She had pink skin and only 2 eyes, making her appearance slightly closer to human. Perhaps that's why she seemed less disturbed by the results. Did you complete the human assessment? She asked. Tay sat heavily in his chair. Yes. And I must file my report with Dr. Han immediately. These humans cannot possibly be granted full diplomatic status. Mina's eyes widened. That's a serious recommendation, Doctor. Look at these readings. Tay projected the human biological scans onto the wall screen. Their design is catastrophically flawed. Mina studied the data. They seem to function well, enough to have developed space travel. A miracle, given what I've observed. Tay began pointing out issues on the scan. First, they require a state of unconsciousness for approximately 1/3 of their daily cycle. They call it sleep, but it's essentially a form of temporary death. What kind of survival mechanism shuts down awareness for hours at a time? Mina made notes. Many species have rest cycles. Rest, yes. Complete unconsciousness where they are. Vulnerable to predators? No. Tay moved to the next scan. And their food pipe and air pipe intersect. They can choke to death on their own meals. What kind of evolutionary design is that? Perhaps their world had special conditions. It gets worse, Tay continued, too upset to listen. Their reproductive systems share plumbing with waste disposal. They have a spine clearly designed for quadrupedal movement that they're using for bipedal walking, causing them constant pain as they age. And their brains, their primary thinking organ, are protected only by a thin shell of calcium that can be easily broken. Mina looked thoughtful. Yet they've survived. And this. Tay pointed to another section. Their bodies are filled with vestigial structures, an appendix that serves no purpose but can kill them if infected, wisdom teeth that no longer fit in their mouths, a tailbone without a tail. And their DNA. Nearly 98% of it appears to be unused junk code. It's like looking at a machine built by a drunk engineer who kept adding parts without removing the old ones. Tay collapsed into his chair, his color changing to a deep blue of dismay. I've never seen such an inefficient design in a sentient species. Mina studied the scans more carefully. Perhaps we're missing something. Their world might have required different adaptations. What possible environment would require such poor design? Tay asked. Every other species in the Council evolved toward efficiency. The Zorans breathe through their skin. The Veltar can process energy directly from their sun. Even your species eliminated the separate air and food passages millions of years ago. Tay began preparing his report for Dr. Han, the Academy's director. I'm recommending humans be classified as a biological anomaly. They should have limited diplomatic access until we understand how they've survived this long with such flawed systems. As Tay worked, Jin waited in the visitor quarters, unaware of the scientific crisis he had caused. He looked out the window, at the beautiful rings surrounding the medical station. Back home, some people were worried about how humans would rank among the galactic species. Jin had assured everyone that humans would be welcomed as equals. Now across the station, Dr. Han received Tai's preliminary report. The director's 6 eyes narrowed as he read. This is most disturbing, Han said to his assistant. Are you certain? These readings are accurate? Dr. Tay has confirmed them 3 times, the assistant replied. Han studied the human biological profile. Such inefficiency should not have survived natural selection. There must be something we're missing. What shall we do, Director? Han considered the diplomatic implications. The humans had developed faster than light travel independently, qualifying them for council membership. But these biological concerns could not be ignored. Schedule the human representative for comprehensive testing, Han decided, and assign Dr. Mina to work more closely with him. Her species is more similar. Perhaps she'll notice what Dr. Tay has missed. Across the station, Jin looked at the unfamiliar stars and wondered how his first contact mission was progressing. He had no idea that his biology had just been classified as one of the greatest scientific mysteries in the galaxy. In his quarters, Tay made a final entry in his personal log. Initial assessment of human biology complete. My professional conclusion: what the hell is wrong with human biology? Everything. These beings should not exist, let alone thrive. Either we are missing something fundamental about evolutionary science, or humans are the luckiest flawed creation in the universe. Further study is essential before allowing them full integration into galactic society. One thing is certain: they are like nothing we have ever encountered before. Little did Tay know that his assessment was about to change in ways he could never imagine. 2 days after the toxic gas incident, Jin was released from the medical bay. His lungs had healed faster than the medical team had predicted, another surprise to add to the growing list of human biological mysteries. When Jin entered the main laboratory, he found it transformed. The testing equipment had been pushed aside to make room for a large display showing Earth's evolutionary history. Dr. Tay stood in the center, gesturing at the display as he spoke to a group that included Director Han, Mina, and several new aliens Jin hadn't met before. "Ah, Jin, excellent timing," Tay said, his blue skin now a light, energetic shade. "Please join us." Jin walked over, noticing how the aliens looked at him with new interest. The fear and dismissal were gone, replaced by curiosity. "I was just explaining my new theory," Tay continued. "I'm calling it the theory of chaotic advantage." "Sounds impressive," Jin said. "What's it about?" Tay gestured at the display showing Earth. "Your planet has one of the most unstable environments we've encountered for a homeworld that produced spacefaring life. Extreme climate shifts, tectonic instability, regular extinction events, diverse predators, countless pathogens." "Yeah. Earth can be rough," Jin agreed. "Not just rough, chaotic." Tay highlighted portions of the display. Most sentient species evolved in relatively stable environments. Their biology developed elegant, efficient solutions to consistent challenges. But humans... Tay switched the display to show human anatomy. "Humans evolved in such a chaotic environment that your biology prioritized adaptability over efficiency." Director Han spoke up. "Dr. Tay believes what we initially identified as flaws in human design are actually extraordinary resilience mechanisms." Mina added, "Think of it like this. Most species build perfect tools for specific jobs. Humans built multi-tools that can handle many jobs, not perfectly but adequately. That's why humans have so many redundant systems," Tay explained. "Your body doesn't trust the environment to remain stable, so it developed backup plans for everything." Jin watched as Tay pulled up medical scans on the display. "Look at these examples," Tay said, now fully engaged in his explanation. "Humans can function with one lung instead of two. They can live with one kidney. Their liver can regenerate after significant damage. They can adapt to use different parts of their brain if one section is damaged." The alien scientists murmured in interest. "Even your digestive system," Tay continued. "It's inefficient compared to most species, but it can process an astonishing variety of foods. If one food source disappears, humans simply eat something else." Jin smiled. "We're the galaxy's ultimate omnivores." "Precisely." Tay seemed delighted by Jin's understanding. "And your temperature regulation, while wasteful of water and energy, allows you to survive in environments ranging from freezing to sweltering." Director Han turned to Jin. "Dr. Tay has requested permission to present his theory to the full Galactic Council. If accepted, it would dramatically change how we classify human biology." Jin nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure what that meant for Earth. Tay brought up a new display showing comparative biology across different species. What appears as flawed design in humans is actually extraordinary resilience through redundancy. For the rest of the morning, Jin watched as Tay demonstrated his theory with examples. Human bones can mend themselves, actually repair breaks without technology. Their immune system adapts to new threats, remembering pathogens it has encountered before. They can survive blood loss of up to 40% and recover completely. Their brains can form new neural pathways around damaged areas. After the presentation, the alien scientists broke into discussion groups debating Tay's theory. Jin found himself standing with Mina near a window overlooking the stars. "So, I'm not a biological disaster after all?" Jin joked. Mina's skin flushed, pink. "Dr. Tay is quite embarrassed about his initial assessment. He's normally our most careful researcher." "No offense taken," Jin said. "But I still don't understand why this theory is so important to the Galactic Council." "Because it challenges fundamental assumptions about evolutionary efficiency," Mina explained. "For thousands of years, we've believed that evolution naturally selects for the most efficient biological solutions. Your species suggests otherwise." "We're not efficient, but we're tough," Jin said with a smile. "More than tough. Resilient in ways we never considered important." Mina gestured toward the discussion groups. Many of these scientists specialize in designing biological improvements for various species. Your biology suggests we may have been optimizing for the wrong things. Later that afternoon, Jin was invited to Director Han's office. Tay was already there, along with several high-ranking aliens who had just arrived from the Galactic Council headquarters. Human Jin, Han said formally. The biology division of the Galactic Council is skeptical of Dr. Tay's theory. They require more concrete evidence of this chaotic advantage before reconsidering human classification. Jin nodded. What kind of evidence? A tall, purple-skinned alien stepped forward. I am Chief Biologist Kyo of the Council. We need comparative data showing human survival capabilities in situations where our more efficient species would fail. Tay looked worried. Such tests would be dangerous. I volunteer, Jin said quickly. Whatever tests you need. The room fell silent. Jin, Mina said gently, these tests could cause you pain or temporary injury. We can't ask that of you. You're not asking. I'm offering. Jin looked at the council representatives. Earth needs allies in the galaxy. If my discomfort helps prove that humans deserve respect despite our flawed biology, it's worth it. Kyo studied Jin with interest. Your willingness itself demonstrates an unusual trait. Most species avoid pain at any cost. Humans understand that sometimes pain brings progress, Jin replied. The tests began the next day. Jin underwent controlled exposures to environments that would incapacitate most species. Temperature extremes, oxygen deprivation, unusual gravity, and mild radiation exposure. His ability to function under stress was measured and compared to baseline data from other species. After 3 days of intensive testing, Mina presented the comparative data to a full gathering of council scientists. Her presentation was compelling. As you can see, she concluded, humans not only survive in conditions that would severely impair most council species, but they can also continue functioning at reduced capacity. More importantly, they recover from stresses that would cause permanent damage to others. She displayed Jin's medical scans from after the toxic gas incident. His lung tissue has completely regenerated in just 5 days. For comparison, a similar injury in my species would require 3 months of cellular regeneration therapy. The council scientists were finally convinced. Even Chief Biologist Kyo nodded in approval as Mina finished her presentation. That evening, Jin found Tay in the laboratory studying new scans of human DNA. I hear the council was impressed, Jin said. Tay looked up. They were. Your biology has opened an entirely new field of study for us. So what's next? Tomorrow I present my final theory to the full council, Tay said. With their approval, humans will be reclassified from biological anomaly to chaos-adapted species, the first such classification in our records. Jin smiled. That sounds much better than walking evolutionary disaster. Tay's skin rippled with color, the equivalent of laughter. Indeed. And if the council accepts my recommendations, Earth will be granted full diplomatic status. More importantly, we'll establish a medical exchange program to study human resilience mechanisms. You think alien species could benefit from being a little less efficient? Jin asked. Perhaps, Tay said thoughtfully. Perfect efficiency works well in a stable environment, but the universe is rarely stable for long. Your species remembered something the rest of us forgot. Sometimes keeping a backup plan is worth the extra energy. As Jin left the laboratory, he couldn't help but smile. He'd come to the stars expecting humans to be impressed by alien biology. Instead, it seemed the galaxy might learn something from humanity's messy, redundant, chaotic design after all. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was filled to capacity. Representatives from over 200 species had gathered to hear Dr. Tay's presentation. Jin sat in the front row, feeling small among the diverse alien forms surrounding him. Never thought I'd be the center of attention for being biologically weird, Jin whispered to Mina, who sat beside him. Not weird, she corrected. Revolutionary. Director Han approached them. Dr. Tay is ready to begin. Jin, he has requested you join him on stage for the demonstration portion. Jin nodded and followed Han to a side entrance. Tay was waiting there, his blue skin almost glowing with excitement. "Are you nervous?" Jin asked. "Terrified," Tay admitted. "This presentation challenges everything we thought we knew about evolutionary biology. Many council members will resist such a dramatic shift in thinking." "Just tell them the truth," Jin said. "That's all science really is, right? Seeing what's actually there instead of what you expect to see." Tay's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "A surprisingly wise statement from a species with such a chaotic brain structure." Jin laughed. "We have our moments." The chamber lights dimmed and a soft chime indicated the presentation was about to begin. Tay stepped onto the central platform, which rose slightly to give everyone a better view. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Tay began, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. 10 days ago I filed a report classifying humans as a biological anomaly. Today I stand before you to retract that classification and propose a new one." Images appeared on the massive screens surrounding the chamber, detailed scans of human biology compared to other species. For thousands of years, our biological science has operated on a fundamental assumption that evolution naturally selects, for efficiency, systems that waste energy are eliminated, redundancies are streamlined. The most elegant solution prevails. Tay paused, looking around the chamber. This assumption has guided our medical science, our biological engineering, and our understanding of life itself. But what if in some environments efficiency is not the optimal survival strategy? Murmurs spread through the audience. Tay continued. Humans evolved on a planet with extreme environmental variation. In just the past 100,000 years, a mere moment in evolutionary time, they have survived ice ages, volcanic winters, pandemic diseases, and dramatic climate shifts. Their planet regularly experiences natural disasters that would devastate most homeworlds. The screen showed images of Earth's natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. In such a chaotic environment, specialization is dangerous. Efficiency becomes a liability. Instead, humans evolved for something we have never properly valued: adaptability through redundancy. Tay gestured for Jin to join him on the platform. This human named Jin appears inefficiently designed by our standards. His breathing system can be blocked by his eating system. His spine causes him pain. His body contains organs with reduced or seemingly minimal function. Yet these supposed flaws are actually sophisticated survival adaptations. Tay brought up Jin's medical scans. Humans have backup systems for almost everything. 2 lungs when one would suffice, 2 kidneys, a liver that can regenerate, blood that can replenish itself, a brain that can reroute functions around damaged areas. The council members were paying close attention now. To demonstrate, I would like to share footage from a recent accident at our medical academy. The screens showed the toxic gas emergency. Council members watched in amazement as Jin, despite being affected himself, rescued several aliens before collapsing. The sulfur compound should have immediately incapacitated him, just as it did us. But humans evolved breathing systems that can handle pollutants, irritants, and toxins. What we saw as an inefficient respiratory system turned out to be a remarkably adaptable one. Chief Biologist Keo stood up. "Your evidence is compelling, Dr. Tay. But is this truly a general principle, or simply a quirk of human evolution?" "An excellent question," Tay replied. "Consider this data from our homeworld survey." New images appeared on the screens, comparisons of various planets. The more unstable a planet's environment, the more redundancies we see in its native life forms. Conversely, species from highly stable environments tend to be more specialized and efficient. Humans represent an extreme case because Earth has been exceptionally unstable. Tay highlighted specific examples. Species from stable environments often cannot adapt to even minor changes. They are perfectly evolved for specific conditions, but vulnerable when those conditions shift. Director Han joined Tay on the platform.
Based on Dr. Tay's research, we propose a new biological classification: chaos-adapted species. Humans would be the first species assigned to this category.
Another council member spoke up. "What are the implications of this research?" Potentially enormous, Tay said. Our medical science has focused on efficiency for millennia. We've engineered unnecessary redundancies out of our bodies. But in doing so, we may have sacrificed adaptability. Mina joined them on the platform. We've already begun studying how certain human redundancies could benefit other species. For example, their robust immune system that adapts to new threats could help species suffering from epidemic diseases. A ripple of excitement moved through the council chamber. The implications were becoming clear. I propose, Tay concluded, that we grant humans full diplomatic status within the Galactic Council. Furthermore, I recommend establishing a cross-species medical exchange program, focusing on resilience mechanisms and adaptive biology. The council chamber erupted in discussion. After several minutes, the council leader called for a vote. The results appeared on the main screen. Proposal accepted 189, yes, 17 no, 12. Abstain. Jin felt a wave of relief. Earth would have allies in the galaxy. Human biology, once seen as flawed, would now be studied as a source of valuable adaptations. After the session ended, Jin found himself surrounded by curious alien scientists, all eager to learn more about human biology. Tay had to rescue him after 20 minutes of questioning. "You're quite the celebrity now," Tay said as they walked through the station's observation deck. "All because our bodies are weird," Jin laughed. "Not weird. Different in a way that makes us reconsider our assumptions." Tay stopped at a large window looking out at the stars. "The council has appointed me to lead the new cross-species medical exchange. I'd like you to be my co-director, representing Earth." Jin was surprised. "Me? I'm not a scientist or a doctor. But you understand human biology from the inside, and you've proven you can communicate effectively with other species. We need that perspective." Jin looked out at the stars, thinking about the opportunity. "So I'd help figure out how to share human biological advantages with other species, and bring beneficial alien adaptations back to Earth," Tay added. "Biological diplomacy, you might call it." Later that evening, Jin joined Tay and Mina in the station's dining area. Jin was eating a spicy food that made most aliens' eyes water, just from the smell. "How can you eat something that causes pain?" an alien scientist at the next table asked, watching Jin with fascination. "The pain is part of the enjoyment," Jin explained. "Humans are complicated that way." "Indeed they are," Tay agreed. "Their pain tolerance is just another adaptation to their chaotic world." As they discussed plans for the exchange program, Jin realized how much had changed. When he arrived, his biology had been considered disastrously flawed. Now it was seen as remarkably adaptive. That night, before going to sleep, another biological function that still puzzled the aliens. Jin heard Tay recording his final research log outside his door. "What's wrong with human biology?" "Nothing. What's wrong is our definition of biological perfection. In a universe of constant change, perhaps the messy, redundant, inefficient human body isn't flawed after all. Perhaps it's exactly what evolution intended, a species built not for a stable environment, but for surviving whatever the universe throws at it." Jin smiled as he drifted off to sleep. Humans might not be the strongest, fastest, or most efficient species in the galaxy, but they might just be the most adaptable. And in the ever-changing cosmos, that could be the greatest strength of all.